Loop 11. Marriage. I walked back and sat next to him. After finishing filling up the water in the cat's bowl, Saul was lying on his stomach with his MacBook open on the bed. I moved closer to see what Saul was looking for. Are you ready? Saul turned the screen towards me. It was a website page that was waiting to load. A few seconds later, the screen showed a video clip that I knew that it was what it was in one glance. My face instantly heated up. Is this what he meant by finding information? Seriously? I looked at him with a stunned look on my face. He nodded his head calmly. He turned to press the play button, and then the video began to play. It's a story of two muscular Western men who seems to be friends, but they end up in the bedroom, hugging and kissing passionately, and began to take his clothes off. Oh, Saul let out a voice and raised both hands to cover his face, while I started to feel hot all over my body. I had to increase the air conditioner with the remote. I tried to keep watching. A man who looked stronger was put onto the bed, and the other straddled him, bending down to kiss while touching that part of the other person. Let's find another clip. Asian something. Western seems too fierce. It's the same. Dahl moved the cursor to fast forward the video. He hit the climax, filled with groans and sounds of bodies hitting each other. Dahl folded down the screen and sighed a long breath. I can't imagine myself. I laid on my back next to Dahl and looked at him. I told you not to hurry. I don't want you to force yourself. He used the back of my hand to gently touch his cheek. Let's talk about it after the marriage so that you're not pregnant before getting married. But you're the one who is pregnant, not me. I giggled, followed by Tall's hand slamming down on my shoulder, and it hurt a little. No way. My sarcasm caused Tall to sit astride me and hold my arms on the bed. I stopped laughing and looked at Tall's face. He seems alert. Tall looked at me with eyes that I'd never seen before. He looked more aggressive, but at the same time, there was some hesitation and uncertainty. Tell me, what do you want me to do? Who do you want me to be? I said softly and raised my hand to touch him. I can be a dog or a cat. I can be anything. Just staying with me like this forever. Saul took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. He looked all over my body from head to toe. He placed his hand on the short gown I was wearing, stroking through the green lettering embroidered on the chest, saying, Dr. Teen Suppressor. My breath began to choke as he slowly bent down and kissed my lips. I closed my eyes and received a sweet kiss with firmness that all gave. The heat generated in the chest gradually spread through the whole body. I lifted my hand to support his face. The kiss was long enough to take my breath away. Tal withdrew the kiss and moved onto my neck and kissed. This kid is no joke. I think I've said this word to myself many times already. Tal is like a normal plastic bag, but contains a lot of interesting stuff. It depends on whether you can find the item or not. Tal was just a teenager who was entering his early adulthood. He was a mixture of maturity and hot tempered in the same person. I'm not surprised that Tal was curious and wanted to try. I'll not be negative with him on this matter. My job is probably only to direct his thoughts in the right direction and willing to give what I can give. And suddenly, Tal stopped. He backed away from me but still straddled me. I opened my eyes and looked up at him. He looked even more confused than before. I don't know why. Tall? I blinked my eyes. No. Tall raised his hand to rub his face. I can. I smirked and lifted his hand to hold both of his shoulders and pushed him to lie down on the bed instead, with me on top of him. Tal let out a shout. I grabbed Tal's wrist and pressed it onto the bed and smiled widely. Tal tried to persist, but my strength was much stronger. The body is smaller, plus has heart disease. It'll be much more comfortable if you lie down. You can, but I can. My words made him freeze. You already know the answer, right? Paul turned away, refusing to make eye contact. Don't know. I laughed and couldn't help but pat his head in front of me. Paul shrugged when I did that. What kind of person is this cute? It's okay. We still have a lot of time to find the answer. Our life is like a one way road. The time of our life is gone and never returned until the point where the engine stopped and then turned off. How many people will have the opportunity to make a U turn to correct the mistake? If I didn't pray that day with my pure heart, I wouldn't have a chance. A chance for me to be with the people I love. My chance to save him from death. My patients were given only one chance. They only had one chance to die, while Nong Tol and I have been given countless opportunities. There are three things that I want to think. First is the holy thing that I have sworn to. Second is thanks to my innocence back then. And third is to thank Tol for agreeing to get trapped in the whirlpool to save my life. He has the right to choose to live without me, but he didn't do that. What I will do as a thank you is to give him the best love and care. Tol and I came to the temple by the sea, the place where everything started. I looked at Tol, who was dressed casually in a white shirt and shorts, wearing trendy sunglasses. Tol took off his glasses, tucked them into his collar, and looked around. The last loop was the person who came here. He probably knew exactly where the Buddha statue was. We still have to walk a little farther behind. Tol looked towards the place lined with wood and green zinc as though it was under construction in front. But it seems we are not allowed to get in. Oh, really? We tried walking closer, but there is a sign posted at the construction site clearly written that it is dangerous to enter. I didn't know what this place was like before. It's been a long time since I took a swearing oath. Would you like to ask people around here what happened? Saul looked around, and then his gaze focused on a middle aged man who was sweeping the temple courtyard. He smiled as if meeting an old friend and hurriedly walked over to that man. I quickly followed him. Uncle, said Tall, may I ask a question? What's up, young man? The uncle turned to answer and gave him a smile. That Buddha over there. Tall pointed towards the construction site. Is it still there? Oh, they were rebuilding. The uncle raised his hand and scratched his head abruptly. The night of the 18th, there was a storm. The wind was so strong that a large tree branch fell into the pavilion, which was completely destroyed. The Buddha was also damaged. Therefore, it has to be renovated. The night of the 18th? As soon as I listened to it, I felt goosebumps. Paul probably felt the same as me. Really? But it's okay. The pavilion was quite old. It's good to renovate anyway. The uncle sighed loudly. Paul looked at me. What should we do? Let's come here again when they finish the renovation. I put my hand in my pocket and picked up 500 banknotes. Uncle, if I want to make merit and join the restoration of the Buddha, where do I have to put the money in? Put it in the box inside the temple. The uncle pointed to the right. I rejoice in your merit. May this merit result come back to you, not to get sick. I raised my hands to receive his blessing. Paul looked towards the construction site in despair. I held his hand and led him towards the temple to put the money in the box. Paul seemed to be stuck in his thoughts again. If he stays silent, it means he's thinking about something, which I understand in his attitude. Not feeling well? I squeezed his hand lightly. Well, I'll keep calling and asking. If it's finished, I'll bring you here again, okay? Okay. Tal still seemed to ponder something. I led him to walk without saying a word. In a moment, Tal will speak out himself. I know he is someone who can't hold back his awkwardness for long. Pity, Tal said as he sat at the door, preparing to board the plane to go back to Bangkok. You think we need to get married? I knew it. I knew you would say that soon. Of course, we have sworn it. It was sacred. You saw it. You didn't ask to get married, but said until we can get married. Tal flips the plant ticker over and over. That means we don't even need to get married. He turned to look at Tal. You don't want to marry me? Not that. Tal looked up at me. I want to come back and save you. Something happens to you. Tal paused for a moment. If you die, I want to come back and fix it. If we get married, I can't do that. I was stunned. If I listened to that sentence, this is not an oath to get married, but an oath to protect the other person from death. I don't know. I turned to look at people walking by. On the other hand, I want everything to return as it used to. But on the other hand, I would like to come back and help you if anything happens. I raised my hand to wrap around Tal's shoulder and pulled him to lean on my shoulder, to which he agreed. I turned to kiss his forehead. But I want to get married. Don't you want to come back and save me? Tal said softly, which was so adorable that I screamed in my heart. Had a heart attack and died just like that? Don't say that. Shit, he's going to get angry. No, making my boyfriend mad is a huge mistake. No marriage is no marriage. Got it? Tal looked at me. Then don't talk about marriage again. If you ask me to marry, then you want me dead. But you're the one who said this first. All I could do was cry in my heart. My dream of seeing Tal in a wedding suit shattered like the glass was thrown to the floor. Should I compromise on this matter, or should I continue arguing? Tal pulled away from me and turned to pick up his backpack and picked up his pill packet. He took out the super pill and threw it in his mouth, followed by the sweet drink he had just bought. The picture I saw was heartbreaking. How many people would know that this handsome, strong looking boy had a heart that wasn't like a normal person? The image of Tal's heart being autopsied still caught my eyes. This incident might happen again at any time, right? What Tal said about marriage might actually be the best, because maybe this loop might not be the last one. End of loop 11, marriage.